Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone that's listening.
Yes, hi. I feel like weird starting this one off. Why? I don't know. Anyway.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
She's
Jules
hard
and
to
I-
restart it.
Yeah, I know. We're just
I was
going
thinking
to
about
restart
food, that's
that.
why.
Yeah, Jules was thinking about food. So she was like, hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Still thinking about food.
Yes. All right. So we are back on our recap.
Yes,
so
your fave.
I know this is my favorite. I
Yes.
love it. I just love learning about new things.
There was a lot of cool ones for this one.
Yeah, I know. I'm
lot of
excited.
cool ones, yeah.
I'm excited. So for those of you that don't know, this is our August recap. We just review latest medical news, research, just articles, things that are interesting that involve something with medicine. Just takes a break from our other podcasts when it's more about like learning about something specific.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy this. We hope that you guys really enjoy it. So let's start it off.
Go ahead.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is...
Oh, I'm going to start this one.
Okay. Because it's
I
all
did-
about the brain.
Yeah, and I did a TikTok on it.
Oh, okay,
Find
okay.
it on our page. It's there.
Oh, yes.
Specifically
the
on
quantum
this one.
Yes. Wow,
Yes.
this is up her. Thank God. Start off. Go for it, Jules.
That's why I'm like, hold on a second. I became a little bit of an expert on this one. Anyway, so
No thanks.
nerve fibers in the brain could generate quantum entanglement. So this puts together the brain and physics all in one.
Jules is just looking at me through the camera, and I'm already like, all right, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Zoning out
Zoning out.
immediately.
Immediate zone out. I'm just like,
You're definitely, if you're watching this video, you're going to just see Evie's eyes just glaze over
just
in like
glaze over.
in a sentence.
I'm like thinking about anything else.
Anything.
Just the word quantum entanglement. I'm like, yeah, okay, pass. But anyways, this is actually really interesting for a lot of people.
It really is.
I'm going to try and pay attention. Okay.
Okay. So by Carmela Padovic-Callahan on July 31st, 2024 on The New Scientist. Scientists have discovered that nerve fibers in the brain might create pairs of particles that are connected through a phenomenon called quantum entanglement. And quantum entanglement on its own is like a massive, very, very difficult thing to explain. So I'm just going to like reduce it to a very, very short sentence, try to keep you, just follow me here.
Yeah,
okay?
I need it.
Okay, so quantum entanglement is a mysterious process. So we're just going to keep it as a mysterious process because it's just too much. Where particles become linked. So particles, just they become linked, right? So that state of one. So like, let's say you have one in like on this desk, right? You have a particle on my desk, right? And then the state of that, like it's linked to something else that's like
In another room.
on my bed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we have one particle on my desk, another one in the bed behind me, right?
Okay.
But these two things are linked,
somehow.
mysteriously.
In mysterious. Okay.
Some way, somehow they're linked, right? Check out the TikTok. I go a little bit more in depth than that. But anyway, so the state of that one that's on the desk, for some reason, like if I roll it, that influences
The other one.
the other one. They're linked somehow.
Yeah.
So if I roll it, that one's probably going to roll too.
Roll too.
Or
Okay.
something's going to happen to it,
Okay.
you know? So that's pretty much what quantum entanglement is in a very, very, very crude, simple term,
I love it.
you know? So, and that means that it could be anywhere. I'm saying like in the same room, but it doesn't have to be. That particle could be in my desk or it could be in Switzerland. It's still linked. And whatever I do to this one particle, that one's getting affected somehow.
Okay.
That blows my mind. How
Yeah.
does that happen? Why does that happen?
don't
What the
know.
fuck? That if you really go down that rabbit hole, it's like,
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
but if you do, it's like,
No, because I'm probably going to get stuck there. And I'm going to be lost. Lost in a place that I probably don't want to be in.
then that means like, how many things can you manipulate and you don't even know?
Yeah. Okay, so what about this connection in the brain?
Right. So then now that you have that very like simplified version of what the hell is quantum entanglement, that's what it is. So this could be groundbreaking discovery because it might explain how millions of brain cells or neurons manage to synchronize their activity in our brain.
So just to clarify what Jules is saying, quantum entanglement is actually discussed in physics.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So this is not like
physics.
a mysterious thing that we found on Google.
No.
No, this is physics, and you can look into it. Quantum entanglement is actually a thing that is discussed.
Yeah.
In a lot of different aspects of physics. So now
Yeah.
basically they are starting to connect quantum entanglement into medicine. And right now we're talking about nerve fibers.
Exactly. Because that's what I'm saying. Like if you go down that rabbit hole of
Which we just talked about phantom limb. So could this be quantum entanglement? Oh my God, I am using physics. Oh my God, I'm so proud of myself.
you see,
For the first time in my life, I'm interested in physics.
you see,
That's it. Excitement over.
God damn it.
very
Anyway,
short-lived.
it was very short lived, but at least I
very
got a little bit of
short-lived.
it. You see
Yeah.
what I mean? If you go down that rabbit hole, how many things can it affect?
Check out our episode on phantom limb on
Yes.
Patreon.
Yes,
But
on
anyways,
Patreon.
okay, moving on.
So it might explain how millions of brain cells or neurons manage to synchronize their activity inside our brain, right? We have millions of them, and they're one of, tiny, tiny, tiny microscopic cells, and they all manage to just work all together all at the same time in our brain. One in the front, in the frontal lobe, and the other one in our freaking cerebellum. How does that work? How are they able to so quickly communicate amongst each other, So they're trying to find how does that happen. So when our brain is active, millions of neurons fire at the same time, and they need to coordinate this firing even if they are far apart from each other, right? So researchers like Yang Kong Chan from Shanghai University suggest that quantum entanglement could be the mechanism that allows this long distance coordination. If future experiments confirm this idea, it could significantly change our understanding of how the brain works and how it even processes information.
Still so crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm more of a concrete person. Julia is definitely more of the abstract, which I think that's what balances us out a lot. But I will say nothing is impossible in medicine. Truly, there are miracles that happen.
Yeah.
If you believe in miracles, then you'll probably believe in quantum entanglement.
Yeah. I mean,
And I do believe in miracles. And quantum entanglement, I feel like is something, it's not concrete, but that's what physics is.
Yeah.
It's not really concrete. So it's really hard for people like me to see it, right? It's I need to see it to believe it, but that's what.
A perfect example is gravity.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but it's 100% there. So,
All right, cool.
So that's, I mean,
Right.
I could talk about this forever.
Yeah, I know. Jules is ready to have a full blown tea time with me.
I'm trying to convince you here. I'm like, come on.
It ain't
man.
happening, girl. It ain't happening. Never
right.
was, never will be a physics person.
Go ahead. Take the next one.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
So, which antidepressant causes most weight gain? Okay, this is hot.
Yeah.
All right, because
Yeah.
Lord knows everyone is really iffy about certain medications. And not just antidepressants,
No,
birth control, all these things, right?
100%.
Weight is always going to be an issue that's discussed. So this is a new study that offers maybe some answers. So this is by Sherry Gordon on July 23rd, 2024 on health.com. So a recent study looked at how different antidepressants affect weight gain. That's one of the most common side effects. The researchers have reviewed that health records of 183,000 people in the US and tracked their weight for 2 years. They found that Lexapro users gained the most weight, about an average of 14 pounds in 6 months and 3.6 pounds.
1.4 pounds.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm why is it more than that? Okay, I missed the dot. Okay.
Yeah. I was like 14 pounds. Binga.
Yeah. People are going to be no, it's Lexapro.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So they found that Lexapro users gained the most weight, about 1.4 pounds in 6 months and 3.6 pounds in 2 years.
I didn't know that about Lexapro.
I think that's a very big SSRI thing, though.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that Lexapro was so
The one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Wellbutrin, users gained the least. So with no weight gain at 6 months and about 1 pound after 2 years. So experts explain that the weight gain from the antidepressants might be due to increased serotonin levels, which can boost your appetite and cravings for carbs. So antidepressants might also slow down your metabolism and make people less active. The weight gain is important to consider when choosing an antidepressant because it can worsen health conditions like diabetes and heart disease. It can also impact self-esteem and mental health. However, weight gain isn't really the only factor to consider, right?
Right.
So doctors also look at the person's symptoms, the medical history, and other conditions. Despite the concerns about weight gain, it's really crucial for people with depression or anxiety to seek treatment. And again, guys, we're talking about 1.4 pounds, 3.6 pounds.
It's not a lot.
It's not crazy, okay?
Yeah.
I feel a lot of benefits outweigh that risk. Untreated depression can lead to really serious health problems. It's really important to not avoid the treatment due to fear of weight gain.
100%.
Cool.
100%. All right. China unveils the world's first AI hospital with robot doctors capable of treating 3,000 patients.
It's crazy.
It's like
It's crazy.
on August 5th by Intels.com. So the world's first AI hospital named Agent Hospital has been unveiled in China. This groundbreaking facility developed by researchers from, I'm going to try my best here, guys. Tsinghua University in Beijing.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can treat up to 3,000 patients a day using robot doctors. The hospital is expected to be operational by the second half of 2024, so probably now, after just 6 months of research and development. That's a little scary. But then again, we're talking about China. So, I mean, I don't know. That's a very short time in research and preparing and whatever. But anyway, you do you. Liu Yang, the research team leader, highlighted that the AI hospital will greatly benefit both medical professionals and the general public. The AI doctors can treat up to 10,000 patients in just a few days, a task that would take human doctors at least 2 years to accomplish. Tests have shown that these AI doctors have a 93.06% accuracy rate on MedQA dataset, which includes U.S. medical licensing exam questions. Okay, I'm gonna wait until I finish. The AI doctors can handle major respiratory diseases and can simulate the entire medical process from consultation and examination to diagnosis, treatment, and follow-up. This virtual hospital has a potential to save millions of lives through its advanced autonomous capabilities.
What are your opinions on this?
Okay, exams are not everything for a doctor.
I just feel that this is okay. They're talking and they're boasting about the first world robot run hospital, but I feel like this is totally treating the patient as a robot.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly.
It's like, so I actually feel that AI in medicine can help a lot.
Right. But it's an assist.
But it's an assistance, exactly. Yeah. So I can imagine it, like kind of maybe, like helping me with like a history, right? Like when a patient says a lot of history,
right? Maybe
AI can kind of condense it and take out the fluff and like really condense something. And then that can help me save time for this.
100%.
Maybe organization as well. Because sometimes the symptoms are so disorganized. Timeline is so disorganized.
Yep. So, like filtering things
out, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So totally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe even using AI to be like, here's the latest research, right? On all these things. I feel like that can only empower a lot of
100%
doctors, right?
Yeah.
But just 100% run, it's what? So, I mean, if I go in, I'm like, well, I had fever, right, for, I don't know, 4 days. And I don't know, maybe the machine goes and looks inside my ear and then like goes and I don't know. What is it exactly that it's doing? I'm not too sure. I've never been to a whole entire hospital.
Nobody has.
Robots.
It's going to be the first one and it's pretty scary.
I think it's interesting to see. However, like medicine is an art.
Yes.
It's not just textbook, like what they're saying, that it's 93% accurate by test taking, whatever it is that means.
Yeah, it was the MedQA data set, which includes U.S.
like
medical
licensing exam questions.
But we know, and you know,
Yeah.
how that is just one portion, like a portion. It's not the whole entire thing of becoming a doctor.
Exactly. So then what I'm concerned about is that let's just say this robot, right, treats something, right? There's still, so this 93%, right? We're still talking about that 7% that maybe something else. And then this patient comes back and then sees a real person. They're like, well, I didn't really do your initial exam. And, I don't feel like everything is just so black and white. So yes, medicine, there's a lot of things that we call textbook medicine.
Yeah, but.
Right. However, I think it's not always like that.
Right.
Half the time I'm the person getting the history,
right?
Because patients are like, oh, I didn't really think about that. And then so that's the whole entire art of things that you're kind of like maneuvering to see like what's the best kind of information you can get,
right?
And I just don't think a robot can do that.
No,
a robot is only going to do what you give it.
Exactly.
Right. And 9 times out of 10, I'm getting more from my patients because of the questions that I'm asking.
Yeah, yeah.
know?
And it's just the human aspect is a big factor in medicine, because you're treating a human. So it's like, I don't know, this feels like a very Black Mirror type of episode.
Yeah, it's very
To me,
weird.
And I get it, like it's going to significantly reduce the costs for these hospitals and however it is that healthcare works in China. I'm sure that it's going to reduce a lot of their costs because now it's not paying for like per doctor
Yeah.
or per patient or whatever. It's like, look at how many they were talking about how many per day? 3,000 patients a day.
A day.
And we know that China has one of the largest populations in the world.
Yeah.
So I get the whole thing of like trying to be efficient and whatever, but come on.
But let's just say something happens.
That's it.
What happens if something happens? So who takes fault? Like the robot? What? You're just gonna unplug the robot and we're never gonna use that robot ever again? Like what?
No, it'll be a software thing. They'll have to
I know, but like what
reprogram it or
happens
whatever.
if a complication happens with the patient? Who's going to be responsible for that?
The
I'm
program.
not gonna review 3,000 charts from a
I see
robot.
what you mean. I see who reviews the patients.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we're counting on, right? Like someone needs to review that robot, right?
But we don't know. I
That's
don't know.
weird. That's so weird.
We don't know because this might just be completely based on
Unless someone signs off like, "Hey, I'm getting treated by a robot. It's up to me, all my responsibility." that I'm
right.
taking."
You probably are signing away your life there of like, it's all software based.
Yeah.
Like nobody's really gonna review it. It's all based on software. You don't
You know
know.
what's sad is that there's people that are like, "Yeah, okay, whatever."
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. This is probably first. This is my opinion. I don't know. This is just the summary that I got from Intels.com. But I could see how this could easily be used to treat people with low income or very, very heavily densely populated areas.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. We're not talking about the rich or like the 1%ers or whatever of China are
Yeah.
going to go to these hospitals treating 3,000 patients
Yeah.
a day by no.
Yeah.
That's not, I don't see how that translates. They're going to
I'm
go to
totally
their
not
private
against
doctors.
AI in medicine. I'm just,
No.
I don't think that I'm fully ready to accept a robot just treating people. That's it.
No. And taking no responsibility and then again, what came crazy to me about that was the 6 months of research and development.
Yeah,
6 months.
months. Okay.
It takes here like,
No
okay.
rush. Don't worry.
It takes us for the FDA to approve a medication like 10 years or more.
Yeah.
And you're saying that in 6 months we got an AI hospital?
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Anyway,
there's something weird there.
yeah. Anyway,
All right.
it's you. I did the AI hospital.
Yeah. All right. FDA approves nasal spray as first needle-free treatment for anaphylaxis. Okay. So this came out on August 9, 2024 by Reuters on NBC News. So the FDA has approved the first nasal spray for treating severe allergic reactions. So if you all didn't know, we still use epinephrine, like the EpiPen, for severe anaphylactic reactions. So this new nasal spray called Neffy, love the word already, love the name, contains epinephrine, the same medication found in EpiPens, but it's delivered through the nose instead of the injection. This could make it a lot easier for people to use during emergencies. The nasal spray is designed to be simple, quick, providing a new option for those with severe allergies.
Awesome.
I need it. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Give it to me. Like,
Amazing.
it's an injection is really, it's very intense.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that inject themselves by mistake. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We went through a whole,
Yeah.
check out our previous episodes on
People
that.
that don't inject because they're afraid that they're going to do
Yeah.
it incorrectly.
100%.
And an injection is like big for them, right?
I get
And
it.
then a lot of parents that don't know what to do, they're like freaking out, panicking. So I just feel like a nasal spray, just shh, that's it.
And the thing about the injection too, it's like, oh my God, where do I inject? Like
Yeah.
throughout the whole body, where do I put this? Whatever.
Yeah, and there's a lot of training, right? There's actually EpiPens that talk to you.
You said that, yeah.
Yes, there's EpiPens that is like, open the bags, put it on here,
Yeah.
put it, whatever, like perpendicular to the
But I
side
mean,
of your thigh.
There's no mistaking a nasal
A
spray.
nasal spray. Yeah.
That's it. It's going to go in the nose. That's it.
I feel like
You
that's
know?
going to be a really big game changer.
It's gonna be
We
great.
have a lot of, we use a lot of nasal sprays too for
Right.
like breakthrough seizures and things like that, which is so much more easier than putting something under the tongue of a patient or like Diastat that's rectal. So these things I'm really happy that we're starting to create new medications that are much more user friendly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So massive biomolecular shifts occur in our 40s and 60s. Stanford Medicine researchers find. This was all over my feed. I could not get away from this news article. Like I couldn't. So I'm like, okay, obviously we'll talk about it. So by Rachel Tampa on August 14th, 2024, published on Stanford Medicine News Center. The study of theirs reveals that our bodies undergo significant biological changes in our 40s and 60s. Researchers found that various molecules and microorganisms crucial for health shift dramatically around ages 44 and 60. It's only 9 years away from me for the first one.
90. Oh,
Nine-
yeah, 44,
nine-
44. Yeah.
For the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And then again on 60. Anyway, these changes affect cardiovascular health, immune function, and metabolism. The study published in Nature Aging shows that these shifts are not gradual but occur in bursts. Both men and women experience these changes, indicating factors beyond menopause. For example, in the 40s, changes relate to alcohol and caffeine metabolism. I mean, I'm already experiencing that. I'm only 35. While in the 60s, they affect carbohydrate metabolism and immune regulation. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So these findings suggest that lifestyle factors like stress, alcohol consumption might influence these shifts. The researchers recommend proactive health measures such as regular exercise and moderate alcohol intake to maintain health as we age.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
when have you joined us on a podcast that we don't say eating healthier and doing exercise is going to be better for you?
I think like in almost every episode we
We're
mention
mentioning something like that.
exercise and sleep is
Yeah,
like,
exercise, sleep, healthy eating. Don't eat plastic.
which is almost impossible these days.
I know.
I saw like I didn't have time to include it here, but they found microplastics in brain.
Awesome. Great. That's exactly what I
samples.
wanted to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Awesome.
it was already in sperm. Now it's in brain. So, you know, it's
Great.
great.
Love it.
Anyway, so that's the world we live in.
Next up, cognitive motor dissociation and disorders of consciousness. So this was the one that I had sent to you, right?
Yeah.
So really cool.
If you want a full episode on this, I'm game.
Oh wow, are we doing ASMR now?
No, but I mean, we could.
Okay. So I sent this article to Julie because I thought this was really cool, and I feel like this is all up Julie's
Super up my alley.
alley.
Yeah.
So this is by Yelena G. Bodian. She is a PhD doctor, and all her friends published on August 14. Every time we say all their friends, it's et al.
Et al.
So for those of you that don't know, anytime that you have a published article or something like that, there's like a lot of people, your group, they say et al.
Yeah, it could be a lot of
A
people.
lot of people. So we just say then they're friends.
That's all.
So this was published on August 14, 2024 on the New England Journal of Medicine, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
The article, Cognitive Motor Dissociation and Disorders of Consciousness, this explores a condition where patients appear unresponsive but may still have cognitive awareness. How can I explain it? It's like a person in a coma,
Right.
right? They are perceived to be unconscious, but actually their brainwaves are still listening and everything. Okay. So this phenomenon known as cognitive motor dissociation occurs in individuals with severe brain injuries who are diagnosed with disorders of consciousness, such as a vegetative state or a minimally conscious state. The authors discussed how advanced neuroimaging and electrophysiological techniques can detect signs of awareness in these patients, challenging the traditional diagnostic methods, right? So before, it was kind of like they're in a vegetative state. They cannot hear you. They cannot feel anything, all these things. But now they're starting to take images that there's potentially
Yeah.
still things working. So even though they are not awake, they are still some level of awake. Okay.
That's just,
So take a deep breath. Okay.
there's so many like movies and
Yes, I
things like
know.
based on stuff like that.
I know. I don't even want to. So weird. Recognizing CMD, which is, again, the cognitive motor dissociation, is crucial because it could influence a patient's care decisions and rehab strategies, offering hope for people improved outcomes by identifying those who may benefit from targeted therapies.
Yeah.
The study emphasizes the importance of accurate diagnosis and the potential for technology to uncover this hidden cognitive function, thereby improving quality of life for patients and severe brain injuries. This reminds me of a patient that I had when I was a resident, and she had, bless you,
Sorry.
and this patient had what we called locked-in syndrome. We should totally do an episode on locked-in
yeah.
syndrome. This patient had locked-in syndrome. She had suffered a lot of...
What's locked in syndrome in simple terms?
So locked-in syndrome is basically when you are not able to react It's like the outside. So like you're aware of everything, but you're locked in. You don't have motor movements. You don't have like anything.
Like the movie Get Out.
Kind of. Yeah.
You saw that
Okay.
movie, right?
Yeah. So you are
Still thinking
fully
about that movie.
aware. Okay. You are fully aware of everything that's going on. You can hear, you can think, you can do everything, but you are literally locked into your body. Like
God.
you cannot talk, you
Terrifying.
cannot move, you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
So we had a patient that she unfortunately had a lot of brain traumas from bleeds that she had. And she ended up developing a type of locked-in syndrome. And I will never forget, she had surgery, right? And she had surgery for like an orthopedic surgery, right? And we noticed that on her vitals, she always was tachycardic, so palpitations. Her blood pressure was up. You know, we couldn't figure it out. We were like searching like DVTs. We were doing like all these exams to just see what was the cause, and everything was negative. And we were all just like, this, you know, she has to be like in some sort of pain. Maybe she's in pain. And like her vitals are the ones that are cueing us that she's in pain. And then, you know, she had these casts from the orthopedic surgery. And we're like, let's take off the cast and check and see. And I will never forget that as they were doing the cast removal, I saw tears coming down her eyes because I was in the room.
That would break me.
And no, I asked the surgeons, I asked ortho to stop. And
oh my God, I don't.
And they didn't understand why I was asking them to stop. And obviously, like, I'm not here to tell like a specialist, please stop what you're doing, because they're like, what? Like, we can't just stop, you know? And I was just like, no, we need to like push more like pain management, pain control, because she was crying. And sometimes I almost felt like she was trying to moan almost because of the pain.
Oh my God.
And so I think of this and I'm like, we really need more push for this kind of medicine.
Yes.
Because
there's something happening there.
There's something happening.
Yeah.
They're awake. They're aware. They hear us. They know what's happening, but they cannot physically sit up in the chair and be like, shh, stop, right?
What
so
ended up
crazy.
happening?
No, they stopped. They stopped, obviously.
With the patient.
No, we ended up seeing, I think it was the casts.
Yeah.
Just the position of the casts were just like the way that they were sitting. Remember, she couldn't move or anything like that. So we checked. Thankfully, everything was okay. She didn't have anything, you know, causing that. And she ended up actually getting better after they adjusted the casts and stuff like that.
Okay. So it was something
probably related to pain.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I will never, ever forget that.
It makes me want to like keep deep reading. Like, oh my God.
But I read this kind of article.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought about was this patient.
Of course.
And it's, you know, a lot of the time we tell families, hey, they're not there. They're not feeling anything.
Jesus.
And it's not true. And this is finally like we're seeing images, electrical waves, proof that there is something there. They potentially may be hearing you. They potentially do feel something.
Yeah.
So this is just, it was just, I wanted this to be on that news recap so much because I just thought it was so cool to finally see that, whoa, wait a minute, everything that we've been thinking before is not. And this is what I love about medicine, is that we are constantly learning. This is just learning all the time. I always joke around with Julie, like, we're never going to have like zero content.
I know.
Because there's just, it's like an ever like evolving field.
Yeah.
And so much to learn from everyone from all around the world. And it's just crazy, guys.
It really is. Now imagine using quantum entanglement to help that.
Move it on.
Come on. You know, if it exists in that patient's mind, it could exist somewhere else. So then they could communicate it somewhere else.
I mean, I totally see where you're going.
You see where I'm going?
But
you see how the rabbit hole is so
but
big?
then I need like the imaging. You see how they mentioned here, like imaging, electric waves.
That's what I'm saying. Like they could make it. How about that? You could measure it just as they're measuring like brain waves and whatever. How about we translate those brainwaves into something that you could understand?
I'm going to need like a whole entire, I'm going to have to go back to school for physics for this. And I don't want to. So don't make me do that.
All right. So this one's from our home. And this one, Mario sent it to me.
Whoop, whoop.
Not very whoop whoop.
Oh, maybe not. I'm going to stop the
But
shoulder
very,
shakes.
very unbrand for Miami. Super unbrand for Miami.
Oh my God, I want to know what's going on.
Oh my God, I can't believe you didn't know about
Stored
this.
health?
Okay.
Oh, no, I do know about this.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
now that I'm reading.
He's a POS of a person.
Yeah.
So anyway, the CEO who made a fortune while his hospital.
I worked in something related to what we're going to talk about right now.
Yes.
And this is really juicy.
Oof. All right, so here we go. CEO who made a fortune while his hospital chain collapsed. Very on brand for Miami. Super.
Yeah.
Anyway, by Jonathan Weil on August 18, 2024, published on the Wall Street Journal. I had first seen this on MedPage, and then it's just gone everywhere. This guy's getting flamed. And good, Anyway, so Steward Healthcare System, a large healthcare company, recently filed for bankruptcy, making it the biggest healthcare system to fail in decades. While the company was losing hundreds of millions of dollars each year, its CEO, Ralph de la Torre, was paid at least $250 million over 4 years. This situation has drawn significant attention and criticism. As the financial situation of Steward worsened, the conditions in its hospitals became increasingly dire. During this time, de la Torre's lavish lifestyle came under scrutiny. Reports revealed that he owns 2 expensive boats, including a $40 million yacht and a $15 million sport fishing boat, as well as a $7.2 million ranch in Texas. Nice. Must be nice. I'm being an asshole that doesn't care. But anyway, a Senate committee is investigating De La Torre and had subpoenaed him to testify next month. Additionally, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey has called for a federal investigation after Stewart announced the closure of 2 hospitals in the state. This announcement coincided with De La Torre's attending equestrian events at the Palace of Versailles in Paris. Governor Healey accused De La Torre of misusing company funds for personal luxuries, like going to Versailles, at the expense of workers and patients. De La Torre, however, has disputed the claims, stating that the value of his assets has been exaggerated. His spokesperson mentioned that he was on a pre-planned family vacation when the hospital closures were announced.
Yeah. So I'm not going to mention the place where I worked, right? But I will just say, Mr. De La Torres, okay, while you were off in Versailles, okay, your hospital was pretty much shutting down in unsafe manners. So we were still taking deliveries, even though we didn't have an ICU, we didn't have a nursery, we didn't have anything, and we were still expected that if a mother presented to give birth and the baby was born, that we would have to assume some sort of responsibility. Luckily, I was able to get out of that, but I think actually a lot of physicians wrote letters and they actually ended up just shutting down everything altogether. But how are you going to...
How do you have the conscience to do that,
While you're partying it up, people's lives are at stake.
Yeah.
Right?
Patients and the workers having to deal with all that.
Patients and the workers. And a lot of people were laid off during that. I know we're talking about like patient safety and everything, but also the employees. We're talking about a lot of employees that were promised bonuses on sign. So people's livelihoods, right?
Yeah.
And then they started kind of dispersing them into other stored systems, but all of them immediately just closed.
Yeah. So obviously this is all ongoing right now. I am just stating the facts from the Wall Street Journal. This is what was in that article. But how could you say that your assets have been exaggerated when you have those boats, those yachts, those vacations, go on and on and on? I mean, it's kind of like proof in the pudding, right? So anyway.
So Purdue calls more than 167,000 pounds of frozen chicken nuggets.
Nuggies.
I know, the chicken nuggets. And tenders, the tendies.
Yeah.
Due to possible metal wire in them.
Awesome.
Super scary. So this is by AP News, and it was released August 19, 2024. And the article came from CBS News, but it's on everywhere. So Purdue Foods has issued a recall for more than 167,000 pounds of frozen chicken nuggets and tenders due to reports of metal wires being found inside the products. This recall
chill.
affects three specific products: Purdue breaded chicken tenders, the Butcher Box organic chicken breast nuggets, and Purdue Simply Smart Organics breaded chicken breast nuggets. Jesus Christ.
I eat those.
Yeah. So these items have a best if used by date of March 23rd, 2025, and it can be identified by establishing the establishment number P33944 on the package, and they were pretty much sold nationwide. The U.S. Agriculture Departments of Food and Safety and Inspection Services, so the FSIS, and Purdue received several customer complaints, which led to the discovery of the metal wire. Although no injuries or adverse reactions have been reported, the recall is being conducted as a precautionary measure. They always say that. Consumers who have purchased these products have been advised to either dispose of them or return them to the store for a full refund. And obviously, just so that you guys know, Purdue has provided their contact information, 866-866-3703, for anyone if they find some metal wiring.
Or just a question of what the fuck.
Throw it away, guys. Just throw it away.
Seriously. Anyway, next one. Severe COVID linked to mental illness in weeks, months after infection, by Catherine Kahn on MedPage Today, August 21st, 2024. We don't talk a lot about COVID in our podcast because I feel like COVID is it's still so unknown. There's so much unknown about it still. There's a lot.
Highly polarizing topic.
It's turned political.
Polarizing.
Like, I don't know why medicine has to become politicized. It just doesn't. Politics should not have a place in medicine, in my opinion.
No, I 100%
You know,
agree.
so, and that's why we've kind of like not talked about COVID much, although there's always news on COVID.
Yeah.
But this one was not politically charged, and there was, it's something that's mental
things
health.
that we need to talk about.
Yeah, it's mental health, and this is important because a lot of people like go through this and they're just like, anyway, so let's get into it. By Catherine Kahn on MedPage Today, August 21st, 2024. Individuals who experience severe COVID-19 infections are at heightened risk of developing mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, and other serious mental health illnesses in the weeks and months following their infection. This risk is particularly pronounced among those who were unvaccinated at the time of infection. So the study emphasizes that the unvaccinated individuals who contract COVID-19 are more susceptible to experiencing psychological distress and mental health disorders. This suggests that vaccination may play a protective role not only in preventing severe physical illness, but also in mitigating the psychological impacts of COVID-19. The findings underscore the importance of vaccination as a preventative measure against both physical and mental health consequences of COVID-19. Public health strategies should focus on increasing vaccination rates to reduce the incidence of severe COVID-19 cases and the associated mental health issues. So overall, this article just calls to the attention to the significant mental health challenges that can arise after severe COVID-19 infections, particularly among the unvaccinated. So, yeah, I mean, it's mental health, right?
Yeah.
Just keep an eye out. COVID has very much changed these days from what it used to be back in 2020, but there are still plenty of cases of COVID-19. So it's something that should be talked about because it's not only the coughing, the dangers of it, the physical aspects, there's no mental health play.
Exactly. And COVID can also have long COVID. So symptoms that can last more than just that acute phase of COVID when you're sick.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of articles. There are a lot of people complaining about things that happen to them
it's still
after
developing.
COVID. And it's still, and we're still learning a lot about that. I think it's really cool. There's also some articles showing that vaccinations also decrease the chances of long COVID. So there's a lot of things that play into COVID. Again, this is a pandemic that happened very recently, even though it was back in 2020. There's still a lot of things that we're learning about COVID.
Yeah.
But it's just another thing to talk about when we're talking about COVID.
Yeah. And now everybody's always so focused.
There's clinics literally dedicated to just post-COVID symptoms.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And it's something that's still developing. It's still being studied. There's a lot of things that still
it's real, right?
It's real.
It's real things that we're getting data on.
100%.
So, and I know that again, that could be highly political.
But we're not talking about the political.
Whatchamacallit, conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is,
these are just the facts. And now there's a mental health aspect to it that has come across, researchers. So it's more than just the physical. And then there's a mental health factor to it. So pay attention to that, guys.
Yeah. All right. So intermittent fasting shows promising in multiple sclerosis. So by Judy George on MedPage today, August 21st, 2024. So recent studies suggest that intermittent fasting may be of benefit for people with multiple sclerosis by improving immune function and reducing inflammation. So this study found that fasting led to a decrease in pro-inflammatory immune cells and leptin levels, a hormone linked to hunger and metabolism that is often elevated in MS patients. I didn't know that either. Yeah, so interesting. Additionally, fasting positively influenced the gut microbiome, increasing beneficial bacteria. So although these findings are promising, the study was pretty small, and further research needs to confirm all these results and explore fasting as a potential complementary treatment for MS.
Yeah.
So this is really great. It's just like seizures, intractable seizures. A lot of people go on a ketogenic diet because it helps with that. And we're talking about people, like I had patients that had failed a lot of anticonvulsants for epilepsy, and then just being on a keto diet completely changed that.
That's incredible.
So it's crazy.
But it just comes to show like how important the gut health
The gut health is, yeah.
and how it influences so much, you know? All right. So one of your favorite things. Intestinal parasites may reduce COVID-19 vaccine effectiveness.
Gross.
It is gross. By Grace Wade on August 21st on The New Scientist. So research suggests that intestinal parasites, which affect 25% of the global population, could reduce the effectiveness of COVID-19 vaccines. This finding comes from a study conducted on mice. The presence of these parasites may interfere with the immune response triggered by the vaccine. This highlights the importance of considering parasitic infections when assessing vaccine efficacy, especially in regions where such infections are common.
Yeah.
That's important.
And also, it's kind of funny because like here in the US, we don't do this, but I treat a lot of people from other countries. And in other countries, it is so routine for people to just take an antiparasitic.
I know.
Yearly.
I know.
And I have people coming in and they're like, they haven't been, deparasitized. And then I'm like, what? I was like, and it took me a while to learn that in other countries, once a year, they just give you albendazole and they just wipe out any parasite.
Which I wonder if it's something that we should do.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I feel like everyone should just take like a fecal test, right? Like, can you imagine if that like becomes like routine screening yearly? You have to give like a fecal sample.
We had an episode where you went off on a hard tangent.
Yeah, I did. And I still will go off on a hard tangent of that girl.
I know, on TikTok.
Yeah. That girl is like forever ingrained by her parasite dump story that she took at Target.
I know it. We didn't need to know.
Yeah, I did not need to know that, madam. It's so weird. People are so weird.
Anything for the clout.
For the clout and for the money. Yeah.
All right. All you.
Okay, so this is really cool and just really great news. I love it when we get things like this. A new painkiller could bring relief to millions without the addiction risk.
Huge.
Finally, something new in the world of pain medicine by Marla Broadfoot on August 20th, 2024 on Scientific American. So suzetrigine is a promising new pain medication that works by preventing pain signals from reaching the brain. Unlike traditional painkillers, which often have side effects or risk of addiction, suzetrigine targets specific pathways in the nervous system to block pain more effectively and safely. This innovative approach could provide relief for people suffering from chronic pain conditions without the drawbacks associated with opioids and other common pain relievers.
Yeah.
So obviously we're talking about addiction, constipation, all these things that can be negative with pain management. But researchers are hopeful that suzetrigine will offer a new and non-addictive option for pain management, potentially transforming how pain is treated in the future.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is really great. Pain is a chronic thing, right? Yeah. So it can be chronic.
Yeah.
Hopefully not for people, but unfortunately it can be. And it's really difficult to manage. And unfortunately, we're limited in the amount of things that we have. So it's just really, a lot of times we do a lot of procedures and things like that to kind of like cut that pathway that may be leading to pain. So it's just really nice to know that we have another medication on the market that may treat it effectively and minimize the need for procedures, invasive procedures.
We were just talking about it in our Patreon episode of Phantom Limb.
Yeah.
Check us out on patreon.com/Funny Medicine Podcast.
Yes.
Anyway, so next one, more on Florida. This is another one that Mario sent me. And anyway, This is a very Florida man thing too, which is horrific. God damn it. Why do we always have to be on the wrong side of the news, man? Anyway, so a Florida doctor who didn't wear hearing aids during colonoscopy couldn't hear patient yelling.
Wait, who didn't wear hearing aids? What?
Yeah.
So he needed hearing aids and he didn't wear them?
Just wait.
Oh my God.
Just wait. State officials say by Tim Stello on August 20th, reported on NBC News. Dr. Ishwari Prasad, a gastroenterologist in Florida, has been placed on probation and fined $7,500 after 2 colonoscopy procedures. 2! Not one, just 2! One awry due to his failure to wear hearing aids. This disciplinary action was taken by the Florida Board of Medicine following incidents at Tampa Ambulatory Surgery Center in June 2023. During one of the procedures, Dr. Prasad began inserting the colonoscopy scope before the patient was fully sedated, causing the patient to scream in pain. However, Dr. Prasad, who is hearing impaired, did not stop the procedure because he was not wearing his hearing aids, which are necessary for effective communication with his surgical team. This oversight is considered a breach of minimum professional standard of care. By the way, why? Because he's 80 years old.
Okay, there's a lot of doctors that are older, right? And they're still doing their jobs and incredibly. But what the hell, man? How is it that you did not wear your hearing aids and you did not hear patients screaming?
Hold. In another incident, on the same day, Dr. Prasad improperly delegated tasks to a surgical technician who is not licensed to perform such duties. This included tasks like inserting and manipulating the scope, which should only be performed by licensed medical professionals. As a result of these incidents, Dr. Prasad is prohibited from performing gastroenterology procedures without supervision until he is evaluated for competency. He must also complete a 5-hour course on medical laws, rules, and ethics. Dr. Prasad, who has been practicing medicine in Florida since 1990, did not respond to requests for comment on the matter.
Dr. Prasad, come on, man.
I mean,
It's time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think that this is something of competency.
No.
Okay, like how can I explain? Let me backtrack. I don't think that this is something of like knowledge. I think this is just pure negligence.
Yeah.
That you know that you have a hearing impairment.
Yeah.
And you went to a surgery where you need to communicate with people and your patient. Your patient is freaking screaming. You're not listening. Whoa, because you weren't wearing your fucking hearing aids.
I have no words.
Yeah.
And then delegating.
I think that's just negligence.
Yeah.
That's just negligence.
I feel
Because
like
if there's an emergency and someone's trying to communicate with you, like, hey, the patient's not doing well, the patient's doing this, something like that.
Then what?
What are you, La La Land? You're just gonna keep on going?
And then delegating the scope to be maneuvered by somebody that's not even licensed, just like to whoever. Like, why are you even doing these procedures then?
Yeah.
Why?
Babo, it's time to go.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So an evaluation of the nutritional and promotional profile of commercial foods for infants and toddlers in the United States.
I'm sure you've seen this.
Yes. So this is by Daisy H. Coyle and her friends, published on August 21st, 2024 on MDPI. This article examines the nutritional quality and the marketing of babies and toddler foods in the US. So nutritional compliance is one of them. Many products do not meet WHO nutritional guidelines, while some, like dry cereals, are compliant. Snacks and finger foods often have too much sugar. Wow, I can't believe it's taken us this long. So many products use misleading marketing claims suggestive that they are healthier and actually are emphasizing natural ingredients or added vitamins. So again, this is like typical when people say, oh, but it's organic. And it's like, that doesn't mean that it's healthy. Labeling, and this marketing is so crazy, using more modern colors and more, just everything.
The psychology of it.
Just the psychology of it, exactly. Labeling issues, so ingredient lists and prep instructions often are really unclear and vague. Well, that can really be very confusing. Conclusion, the study calls for stricter regulations and clear labeling to ensure foods for young children are nutritious and marketed honestly, helping parents make informed choices. So we're going to tie in another article that just came out, basically saying majority of baby foods in the U.S. grocery stores may not meet health guidelines. And this is also another study by, this was published by Katie Kindelan and Sony Salzman on August 21st. And this was on Good Morning America. A recent study published in the Journal of Nutrients has revealed concerning findings about baby food sold in the US grocery stores. So the study examined over 600 products intended for infants and toddlers ages 6 to 36 months and found that about 2/3 did not meet the WHO standard, so the World Health Organization standard.
The study you were just talking about.
Yeah, for healthy baby foods. So specifically, 70% of these products failed to meet protein requirements, 25% didn't meet caloric recommendations, and 44% exceeded the sugar limits, with 74% containing added sugars or sweeteners.
It's just...
So that means that close to almost just 25% of the baby foods are going to be just without added, like that crazy added sugar. Well, additionally, all the products had at least one misleading packaging claim not aligned with WHO standards. Snack-sized products were particularly low in nutritional compliance. Researchers are pretty much emphasizing the importance of incorporating whole foods such as grains, fruits, veggies into children's diets and caution against the over-reliance on packaged baby foods. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture also advises that infants and toddlers should avoid added sugars and consume a variety of non-processed foods.
Go off.
Oh my goodness. No, I mean, I don't even need to go off. It's like sometimes I just feel, don't get me wrong, I get it. I'm a parent. I know what it is that...
And a pediatrician.
And a pediatrician. I know what it is that you need, like, sometimes just like, okay, quick and grab and go. I feel like it should be available to me to be able to go to the grocery store and be like, okay, I cannot cook at home, but I'm more than confident that if I walk out of my grocery store, I'm going to have something nutritious for my child. And this study is showing that when I go to the grocery store, I have to have my ass peeled for reading the nutritional labels, which I do anyways, but not a lot of people do because
or have the
just
time.
Not, or the time, or probably just not the education. They get confused, right? I don't expect people to know how much fiber they need in for a 1-year-old.
Or even keep track of it.
Or keep track of it. Sometimes they don't even know how. They get confused, and I totally get it. So it's just really annoying that it's just, there's not like just an easier way for parents to say, okay, this has the recommended amount of protein and this and that. And then, okay, I think this is, just an easier way to realize, okay, I think this is a healthy option.
Or just have more of those healthier options available.
Yeah. And the added sugar freaking kills me. Yeah. And don't even get me started on formula.
Oh my God.
Don't even get me started on formula.
Oh my God. And the thing is that groceries these days are...
And I'm not against formula, but I'm against some of the US formulas.
Right. Yeah, which is why it's become popular now, the overseas formulas and stuff like that. I remember 6 years ago when my son was in that stage, having to drink milk all the time, it was just starting, like the European formulas and all that because of all these findings. But what's even more annoying is that we are paying an arm and a leg these days for groceries. And then it's for this.
For babies.
The fuck? What are we paying for? We're paying for bullshit, which goes back to so many episodes that we talk about the food, the food in this country.
But there's so much, like that we say, there's so much in marketing and all that stuff. Like how many marketing companies are marketing vaping for teens?
100%. 100%.
So it's unfortunate, it's a business. But that's why I try as much as I can to educate, like this is read the nutritional label, read the ingredients, like you gotta look at it, okay? And that is, and I feel bad because some parents are like, I didn't know. Like, oh, well, I got this yogurt and it has a baby face on it. So it must mean that it's for babies. I actually would understand that logical thinking. If you see a baby face, oh, this must be safe for babies. And when you look at the ingredient, it's like, you can give this starting at 6 months and it has 12 grams of added sugar. And I'm just like, why? Why?
Exactly. All right. So next, your brain may be mutating in a way that was thought to be very rare. So this is by Michael LePage on August 22nd on The New Scientist. So the article from The New Scientist discusses a surprising discovery about the human brain. It undergoes genetic mutations more frequently than previously believed. These mutations, known as somatic mutations, occur in individual brain cells and differ from inherited genetic changes. Although such mutations were once considered rare, recent research suggests that they are quite common and may even play a role in brain development and function. Scientists are exploring how these mutations might contribute to neurological diseases and disorders. This new understanding challenges previous assumptions and opens up exciting avenues for further research into genetic complexity of the brain, which is great because there's so many psychological and neurological disorders and all that that develop later in your life, and they're considered idiopathic. So maybe this is another way of figuring that out.
Yeah. All right. So Musk's, as in Elon Musk, Neuralink says second trial implant went well, so no thread retraction issue. So this is by Reuters on August 22nd, 2024.
And then they
by
published it.
Reuters and published by Reuters on August 22nd, 2024. Elon Musk's company Neuralink has announced the successful second trial of its brain implant technology. So if you guys just listen to our, I think like a couple of episodes in the past, for one of our recaps, we mentioned that Neuralink, it's basically like almost like a chip that's inserted, and then through your thoughts, you're able to move things, which is really cool. But apparently that first trial didn't go too well. So they had a successful second trial of its brain implant technology, which aims to enable paralyzed patients to interact with digital devices using their thoughts. So the second patient, identified as Alex, did not experience the thread retraction issue that affected the first patient, Noland Abra, whose implant wires retracted post-surgery, reducing the number of electrodes measuring the brain signals. So Neuralink addressed this problem by minimizing the brain movement during surgery and reducing the gap between the implant and the brain's surface. The implant has allowed both patients to engage in activities such as playing video games and designing 3D objects, showcasing its potential to improve the quality of life for individuals with spinal cord injuries. So it's so crazy.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like what this has a potential of doing is wonderful. All right. So fluoride at twice the recommended limit tied to lower IQ in kids, U.S. report says.
Yeah, this is a big news.
Yeah, Mario sent me this one by Associated Press on August 22nd, published on MedPage Today. Well, a new U.S. government report has found a link between high levels of fluoride in drinking water and lower IQ in children, marking the first time a federal agency has made such a determination. The report, released by the National Toxicology Program, reviewed studies from various countries and concluded that fluoride levels exceeding 1.5 milligrams per liter were consistently associated with reduced IQ scores in children. This finding is significant because fluoride, known for its role in preventing tooth decay, has been a major public health success since its introduction to drinking water. However, the report suggests that excessive fluoride exposure, which can come from multiple sources, including water, food, and dental products, like your toothpaste, poses a potential risk to neurological development. While the report does not specify how many IQ points might be lost, some studies indicated a decrease of 2 to 5 points in children with higher fluoride exposure. This has prompted discussions about the need for new fluoride limiting measures and the possibility of labeling fluoride content on beverages.
Yeah, and I think some pretty big dental associations are still reviewing the research and everything behind it so that they can also make a really big recommendation. Because let's be real, the reason why we have fluoride and the reason why a lot of our dentition has improved is because of fluorinated water.
Yeah.
So it's not just because people are like, well, why do we have fluoride? Fluoride is actually important for our enamel and for our teeth. And when it was added, it actually showed a difference in our oral care just by having the amount in it. However, now they're kind of discussing how much should be in it, and people should be aware if there is.
Yeah.
And the Dental Association still needs to kind of comment on that to see what their opinions are as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was our recap.
Yes. Thanks,
August
guys.
recap.
We love our recap.
Yeah, there was
Episodes.
a lot, and that's filtering. I even filtered out ones I had here to talk about, because, but it's just
But we truly love when y'all
Yeah.
send us recommendations, like
Yes.
articles and interesting things. So you
keep
can
doing it.
email it to us. You can post it up on our threads. We have a
Yep.
lot of interaction on threads.
DM.
Anything. You can just let us know, and we'll
Yeah.
be happy to include it and talk about it.
Absolutely. And also don't forget to check us out on patreon.com/Funny Medicine Podcast, where we have how many? I think it's already, what was the last one? Over 50.
Yeah.
Full episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. So just like this, full episodes over there that have nothing to do with the topics that we've touched upon in our weekly. So completely brand new. They come out every Friday morning.
Yeah.
Just like these come out on every Tuesday morning.
Julie and I sometimes randomly will spice it up and show you guys a little bit of our Patreon stuff, just to give you a little taste of the Patreon.
Yeah.
So sometimes we will use our episodes to kind of, promote that on our podcast. But yeah.
We have over 50 of them already there. And you could, if you join, you could listen to all of them. And you'd also be supporting us to continue
our podcast
going with this. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you later.